I played Marathon for 50 hours now, collectively. And it is one of the most fun games I have played in a long time. I really enjoy the gunplay. I really enjoy the movement. I think it's a very well made game. I do. Um, what's it called? I see a lot of comparisons happening, you know. Oh, it's getting beat out by Slay the Spire 2, blah, 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 right? I think what a lot of people are losing sight on as well when it comes to Marathon versus Slay the Spire 2. Slay the Spire is a very beloved indie game franchise, all right? It is. It is a very well-known franchise. People that have never even played the game know of that game, myself included. I know about Slay the Spire. I know how loved it is. I've never heard anything bad about it. And I know, and I knew as soon as they announced the second one, it was going to be massive. All right? And that's just the truth. Okay? But with that said, I don't feel like it is a fair comparison to compare a very beloved video game, right, to a reboot of a franchise that most people never even heard of, never even played because they were too young, and B, don't even know the roots of the game, right? Compare it to that. All right? The first Marathon came out in like 1996 or something, and it was made for like Mac. All right? Before Windows took over as the dominant OS for gaming. Okay? So we're comparing a reboot of a franchise to a very beloved indie game. Okay? On top of that, it's an FPS game, right? Which has a pretty large appeal to gamers. Okay? But where it's suffering is because it's an extraction shooter, which is a very niche subgenre of the FPS space or of the shooter space in general. Why? People don't like to lose their stuff. People don't like to lose, right? In the first place, in a competitive game. Now you add in, oh, I have to bring in gear and possibly lose it when I die? Dude, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. It is. What, extraction shooters? Yes, I think a lot of these companies see it as like the next big genre, and I feel like if it was the next big genre, it would have popped off already, you know? Because I mean, we had what? We have Tarkov, okay? Tarkov is like, you know, they kind of started it all. Well, that's not true. Destiny, not Destiny, bro. The Division. The Division is the original extraction shooter as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure they even came out with that before Tarkov did. Okay? Tarkov was the one that pioneered it. All right? Tarkov really laid the foundation for an extraction shooter. Granted, it's extremely hardcore, and it is made for the sweatiest of animals of human nature. Okay? Our creators made the extraction genre more popular because it appeals to casual players, because it has such a friendly and fostering environment. And if you go in PvP in that game, you are going to be flipping castrated, okay? The way I see it is we have Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, Arena Breakout Infinite, and now Marathon, all right? We have 4 high-quality, hardcore extraction shooters, okay? Then we have Arc Raiders, which is not hardcore in any sense. The best way I see this, all right, this is going to be controversial. Arc Raiders is the participation trophy extraction shooter, while the other 4 that I mentioned, Tarkov, Hunt Showdown, Arena Breakout Infinite, and now Marathon, are the hardcore of the bunch, right? The ones where you actually get the first place medal if you make it out. Okay? Helldiver. Okay, so Helldivers is an extraction shooter by technicality. However, it is a casual extraction shooter, much like Arc Raiders, but it is only an extraction shooter because there is an extraction mechanic. It is not an extraction shooter in the traditional sense, if that makes sense. So I'm going off of the extraction shooters that have PvP. And I think Marathon launched to a pretty decent amount of players for the extraction genre's size. Okay? Over hardcore audience size, right? Marathon is 100% more focused on a immersive hardcore experience compared to Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is a more casual experience, and you can tell this through multiple dev vlogs, the way the PvP works, and the way the servers are. You cannot be a competitive game and have a server tick rate of about 10. That does not feel good. You die around corners. You're getting shot. Your ghost is getting shot. You're getting shot 10 seconds ago. Okay? That is a terrible PvP experience. Oh, people will say, oh, the movement is good. The gunplay is good for a third-person shooter. No, it's not. No, it's not. I have played 130 hours of Arc Raiders. It is not a good experience. Okay? You know what has a good third-person shooter experience? Deadlock, Gears of War, The Division. All of those have great third-person shooter PvP experiences. Arc Raiders is subpar. Marathon has 60 tick rate servers, okay? The PvP, you could definitely tell this game was made with PvP at the forefront, and the friendly aspect was made at the back end, right? I think they saw how Arc Raiders did things and added in the friendliness factor after. Whereas in Arc Raiders, that it's the reverse. They added in the PvP after. Okay? The gunplay is significantly better in Marathon. It is. It is. I think the class abilities, the classes, makes this much significantly unique. People will say, oh, there's nothing unique about it. Okay, right. The different heroes, if you will, in there are definitely may lead to unique gameplay. The world is unique in itself. The way that the contracts actually work and affect your progress, they're definitely some of the best. I think the only other one that you could argue is better is Tarkov, because it's definitely better than Arc Raiders. There's not even contracts or anything. There's not like factions or anything like that in Hunt Showdown, or anything like that. But I do think that Bungie has really knocked it out of the park here. Again, my concerns are that they support the game well and right in the long term, right? I'm worried with that they do what they did with Destiny 2. You know, I really do hope that they do support this game the way that it needs to be supported. I think that the way that they're going to do the story and that the way that they're doing the content with the mid-season, they've already answered to some of our criticism. They've already answered to some of it. They're not shying away from the criticism. They're rising up to the occasion. They're literally updating things here. They're addressing thermal scopes, which is a big issue. It was a big issue in the server slam. They're adding in more content to the battle pass because people said that there wasn't enough content in the battle pass. So they're adding in 3 new skins and shell skins, which is the heroes, and weapon skins. They're adding in more content at no extra cost. They gave us free in-game premium currency if we were affected by our deluxe upgrade items not being delivered on time. And they've reduced the pricing on the skins that you can buy in the shop. They are listening and they are responding. Okay? Bungie needs this game to be a success. Sony needs this game to be a success. And I think they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that that they foster the dedicated community that they have right now, and foster the game in a way that it promotes growth and allows new people to get into the game. I think they definitely need to update the intro. Okay, they need to definitely do a better introduction to the game. I think the way that they have it now, where you go in, you're instantly in a raid, and then it's just like a bunch of pop-ups as you navigate the menu and everything. I just don't think that's enough, right? And obviously, like, there's some games that heavily rely on content creators to make intros to the games. Like, look at Tarkov, dude. You cannot get into Tarkov without watching some kind of introductory video on YouTube, okay? It is just that hard, all right? I also think that Marathon kind of shines a light on how gamers want to do something. And I'm going to show that example right here, right now, as I log into the game. I'm going to show you guys something, right? Because a lot of people are saying the UI is bad. And I agree to a certain extent. I think there are certain aspects of the UI that are bad, but not the entire UI. If they could, fix the boot up time, that'd be great too. Fixing the boot up time would be awesome. But here's what I'm talking about, right? So people are getting overwhelmed by this portion of the game, okay? Yeah, there's a lot going on here, right? You got these 6 boxes, right? Granted, this upgrades available thing, these numbers won't all be here. What'd I get? Okay. If you're new to the game, right? But they come in here, they see this, then they go here to the upgrades, and they're like, oh my god, what is going on? All right? I actually think the game is a little bit of an IQ test. Because all you have to do is you just have to click it and read. Oh, gain additional rows of vault capacity? Okay. Oh, increase data card credit rewards? Okay. Unlocked enhanced overrun AR, V11 punch, and CE tactical sidearm for purchase? Okay. That tells me that this is a gun. Okay. Very simple, right? The UI is genuinely pretty simple. It's just these little modules you click, and then you hit purchase to upgrade them. Boom. All right? Not bad. Now, where I can see people getting argumentative about the UI is in the certain aspects of the loadout. For example, the implants. This, I cannot tell that this is a survival kit 1 upon first look. I can't. All right? For example, if I go into my vault here, so here's a standard torso implant. Here's another standard torso implant. How do I know that? Because the arrows in the highlighted section is the torso. So here we go. Oh, this one's a survival kit V3. Well, I can't tell that just by looking at it. Okay? Same with this one. And what's this one? Knife fight V3. I can't tell that this one and this one are different upon looking at them. Right? Same for the cores. I can tell this is a triage core. See? If I hover over it, requires triage shell. This one's a destroyer core. This one's a thief core. There are distinctions between the cores for the shells. However, I cannot tell the difference between this one being called Electron Recapture Sinks and Hippocratic Oath. That's a problem. When you're in a round, this is a problem. Okay? I also cannot tell where we at here? Is it Nuclear? No, it'd be Traxxas. I cannot tell the difference between these, especially in a round. These two look very similar, but they're different. Ornithologist or Nithinol, I don't know, bro, whatever. It's kind of dumb. You get a distracting bird call, okay? And then this one, Last Resort. I cannot tell the difference between these. This is valid criticism. This is a valid complaint about the UI. The other stuff, I don't think so. It's pretty simple to tell what is what in these upgrades here. You just have to read. And it's not, and you can't even say, oh, these need better icons. You're not in a raid here looking at this. So you have all the time in the world to just kind of read it and understand, oh, this is for this. This is for that. That is that, right? You just go through and read them and be like, oh, okay. And then it even tells you what you need to upgrade it. You just look over it, you hit track, R, and then what happens, right? For example, if I have something that I need to find for an upgrade, right? It puts this little eye icon on it right here, as you guys can see. That means I'm tracking it, that I need it. There's something that I need this for. Okay? It's not that bad. People are saying that this is like the worst UI system ever created. No, there are far worse UI systems created. Okay? There just is. There just is. But overall, the game is good, okay? As long as if you're just not listening to all the online hate and BS going on, I think you're going to get a lot of fun for 40 bucks. I do. As long as you can accept the fact that you will die, the game is hard, and you will lose your items. As long as you can move past those 3 things, which is honestly a lot of things to swallow and hard pills to swallow for a lot of gamers out there, and I can understand why. I don't like losing my stuff. I don't like losing. And now I have to give up my stuff on top of it? Yeah, that kind of sucks. But, hey, I like being a masochist, and maybe you do too. So, with that said, thank you guys for watching the video, and I hope to see you guys in Marathon.